Welcome back duelists. I've got a video for you and a giveaway at the end, so make sure you watch this video and don't skip all the lovely stuff I'm about to say. And I'm going to do a recap on Euros, my very first Euros ever. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The competitive scene for me was very up and down, however the social scene was loads and loads of fun. I'm going to start off by saying I have no order of how I'm going to put this all. I'm just going to splurt lots of things and hopefully they stick. So my recap will involve lots of different things: the meta, how my deck performed, what I could have done differently, because hindsight is incredible, overall experience of the venue and how Berlin was and how my friends did. Let's get stuck into it. Before I start though, like and subscribe and shoot down in the comments your experience for Euros or the Nationals in America or wherever you played. Let us know how it went. So everything was super smooth. Getting to Berlin, got into our Airbnb, spent the night there on the Thursday, and then Friday we went to all the vendors because I had a plan to shine up my deck even more with shifters and QCRs, getting Ghost Ogres and QCRs, and potentially DD Crows, but I'm not too sure about that card yet because I thought, you know, I've got to have shiny cards for the feature match. That never happened. So spent a bit of money in the vendors. Really good deals. Usually in some sort of like cons you go to, these places do tend to have quite high prices, especially when Euros is there and then that weekend and people need to pick up cards. There was one story, a lad's bag didn't come with him, so all his stuff didn't come with him, so he had to re-buy Fiendsmith Snake Eyes, which is crazy. And then he managed to get his bag in time on the Saturday, which was all QCRs. So they ramp up the prices for those in-demand cards, but luckily all the stuff that I picked up was of value on other like auction sites or cheaper, so got some value in there. So the place that they managed to hire out was incredible. The SGL Berlin Hotel, awesome lobbies, lots of space for all the duelists. I was so happy to be able to, at the end of the venue, go and have a drink with the boys or go and have a pizza because it was all there and it was spacious and it was clean. But €9 bottle of water was pretty crazy. They managed to have the vendors in a completely different room to the gaming. It was easy to get from to and from lots of different places. Perfect location. I played Tempai. I decided to play a really heavy hand trap list, 30 monsters and the rest were spell traps. I unfortunately got on well on the week leading up to going to Berlin, so I lost a few hours of testing and I got to the point where I was umming and ahhing about certain cards without testing them too much, which is really terrible. You should probably go to an event with a very comfortable deck. Late additions with the shifters and the Mulch armies being in the main. Unfortunately with a shifter I hadn't played enough to play around my own shifter in terms of OTKing under it and playing one Fadra, so that hindered me big time. But the Mulch army, you know, performed well and everyone on stream performed really well. I did feel like I should have played some form of board breakers simply because I played 3 runic stun matches throughout the whole weekend and they were my early on games, so I was losing against these stun variations without lightning storms in the main, and yeah, that really sucked. Winning players list and some of the lists that topped with the Regekis and the storms in the main made perfect sense. I respected Gimmick Puppet a bit too much and disrespected the runic variants, which was not a good idea. I'm currently reading a book. It was a book that was recommended by some other lad on YouTube who was making content about mindsets of Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been learning the processes of tilting and not being tilted by bad hands or playing badly or a player beating me. So I grinned and smiled as I was getting runic stunned and I accepted it, and it's just like, that's how the cardboard is made and that's how it reads. They made it, they play it, I don't care. Reading about tilt and that happening was a big learning experience for sure. The format was really strange. I've obviously spoken to people about this over at the venue. A lot of players with the Fiendsmith stuff struggled because they hadn't had a regional or an OTS champs testing ground for these new cards, and I think that was one of the main reasons why people went in close to time and there was like spooky dogwoods just everywhere. Lots of people were going into time because the combos were so long. You think Snake Eyes is long? Add another engine to it. I think a lot of people also struggled with Fiendsmith Snake Eyes because it was the biggest representation of deck there. All the new cards, I think there wasn't enough time to bed in unless you're some sort of super freak on various simulators. I found it really difficult to test new cards 2 weeks before because you only get 1 week of them being legal in ranked matches, and I don't have the luxury, and hopefully one day have the luxury of having like a solid testing group. I have my mates, love them to bits, but we aren't hardcore players yet. I am jealous of those hardcore players who get lots of hardcore training in, and I hope one day I can try and find those people to help me improve my game, and hopefully I can get better and I can get them better, because it can't be just a one-way street of me taking it. You've got to give a little bit. Maybe I just give everyone bear hugs in exchange for testing. So I'm going to talk about the drama. So an explosion happened during round 4 or 5, and I was playing against a firefighter, which is really funny. And so a large bang happened, and it didn't feel real because it was so loud and so expressive and violent. And obviously turning around and seeing it pop and blow, and like every other row of lights above us went out. But we carried on playing, and as we were playing, smoke started filling up the hall, and I was like, it's not good because I've got my asthma, and I actually had to use it because I'm a nerd. So as we got told to start leaving, my opponent had slammed down the calamities. Which is really convenient because I was able to respond with picking up my cards and leaving because of a fire drill. Lovely chap that I played, the first English lad that I played. But yeah, it was crazy. We were out for like an hour, and then they managed to sort out the hall, maybe hoovered the smoke away. And what do you do there? Just open the windows? Hats off to the staff. You guys absolutely smashed it. They were able to make queues for people that wanted to exchange their prize points for the OTS packs, because all games have been abandoned except from the main event. And then you had another line that involved going to the prize wall, and it went like this. And I was like, I'm joining that line, because Konami had decided to give everyone max points based on what their result was. So if you were XO with 2 games remaining, you got 80 points. If you were X1, you got 30 points. I was X1, so I went, like, I got 30 points. I won that deck box, which was 616, and some of the cool mats were 8 to 16. So yeah, I'm gonna stick in this queue and I'm gonna get some stuff. Found out very quickly that they have like a little scroll, like a little shop of what's available, and lots of cool stuff that I wanted was getting out of stock. So I was getting a little bit worried that I was just going to be turning up and taking basically nothing, because there was an OTS pack line, so I didn't know if I could get OTS packs. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I got, what I managed to get. The first big one, I managed to pick this bad boy up. It's the Chimera Fusion Dude. I love this deck, and this wasn't actually on the shop on the website, so there wasn't many of these in the pile, and I grabbed him. I managed to take like 15 OTS packs, and I packed a Harpy Feather Duster ulti. I got some stuff for the background, for the shell. I'll show you. I got this deck box, Ash Blossom deck box. I'm gonna have it turning the other way so you can see her and her feet. You can't see it, but I've got an IP Masquerena binder, and that's another thing for the background, because I wanted to get a deck box to put on here. And you know, Konami, please can you make figurines so I can buy them off you? But yeah, I've got Skater Girl. So my entry, I managed to pick up my Cyber Dragon coin. And then I managed to, it's on the shelf somewhere, I got some more sleeves. I managed to get my own ones, and then I traded some more because I like them. The purple is so cool. But then I went to the vendor on the last day, last few hours. A friend and I were being a little bit silly, and we decided to pick up Brush Duel cards. So here's our Pot of Greed, which is like Prismatic Secret. It's gorgeous. So we're now pot friends. And then we ended up being really silly, and I bought this like dual terminal Rush Duel Red Dragon thing. Oh, it's so cool. And so the plan is, I'm gonna get a proper casing, gonna drill a hole in here using Jen's expertise, and I'm gonna make a necklace. My friend picked up the blue eyes, so we're gonna be dragons, dragon buddies. Thoughts on Tenpai? Interesting. It's really, really sacky. It reminded me of when I started playing Flu, and also reminded me when I played Runic Stun, because there isn't actually much interaction going on. There's not much combo going on. It is a very luck-based deck, and obviously you saw on stream, opponent had Rigeki, opponent had Duster, and then was able to play. A lot of the time, I ended up having about 4 hand traps and a starter, and so I was able to make my opponent, pass turn quite quickly. And they Ash the Pydra, or they Imperm the Tundra, so that really, really sucked. But yeah, when it did work and it did and it did pay off, because I built my deck to beat Snake Eyes and the U-Bell variant, and I wasn't seeing them until like late on. So when I did see them, I destroyed them, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the playstyle. So I am going to be changing deck now. I think I've bought the Fiendsmith stuff, and I looked at a list today that had Fiendsmith Tempai from someone who topped 32 or top 16 with it. I was like, oh sweet. And as I said, oh sweet, Trident Dragon decided to get sold on eBay, because I did put him up because the reprint's threatening us. So he has been sold, and yep, just put that to bed and look at some Fiendsmith variants. So if you have any Fiendsmith ideas, let me know. I'm going to be looking at Sprite to begin with. I do have coming up the Live Twin stuff, and I do have Magical Musketeers in my binder ready to be sleeved up. Just missing a couple of cards. I think it's like some of the Unchained cards. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I have like nothing to give away. I looked around and I didn't find anything cool and gooey. However, I'm getting proper into Edison, and some of my friends have been building Frog Monarch, so I thought it would be fitting to give away a Lart Treeborn Frog for your Edison decks. So if you play Edison and you want obviously an EU print English copy of Treeborn Frog, just comment down below, like this video, and yeah, comment. I want to hear about your experience, and I want to hear if you are planning on going abroad, because it's crazy. I spent a whole weekend in another country playing a card game, and I absolutely loved it, and I do not regret it one bit. One massive shout out to the casters and the host Ed. They absolutely smashed it again. They are bringing a completely fun, fresh, edgy way to it all, and I think they're absolutely smashing it, and we are really lucky to have a high level of production for these events. I had to, when I got home, just went straight onto the stream. I saw people on Twitter just commenting saying there is just like very little time between different things, and you know, all that dead space is getting completely filled up, and it's just getting better and better. So keep that up, you guys. So yeah, I hope I haven't killed you with my monotone voice, and I'm going to change it now to say goodbye.